Welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. Tonight's show is sponsored by Wisconsin Flight Sports. They make it affordable and accessible for you to get your paramotor training. They are stocked with SkyMax paramotors, one of the best paramotors available, and they are ready to be shipped to you today. Wisconsin Flight Sports has just announced a special class in Gulf Shore, Alabama, February 12th through the 21st. Go to their website for more details. Check out Paraswag USA for your complete powered paragliding gear, Source providing you with the new Rebel 2 RS paramotor, as well as other gear and accessories. JK Custom Carves is a father and daughter run small business taking your vision and immortalizing it forever on wood, plastic, or aluminum. With extremely affordable pricing, this creation makes a great gift and trophy for any paramotor enthusiast. Find JK Custom Carves on Facebook or click on their link on the Our Paramotor Nation website. iFly Indiana provides USPPA certified powered paragliding training on their equipment or on yours. Full-time classes are 7 to 9 days. Part-time classes are also available. Come out to Indiana and see how beautiful it can be to train. Take the next big step in your paramotor training at Skylab Paramotor SIV. Here, paramotor pilots of all skill levels will learn collapse recovery and advanced maneuvers. One-up adventures and paramotorprops.com. Come share their passion for flight on adventure trips around the world. Additionally, they are a supplier of carbon fiber propellers in the U.S. at extremely low prices and have become a leader in the country for getting tandem training and exemptions. FlyMyPPG offers a full-service paramotor training experience with 3 on-site instructors and class sizes limited to 6 students, all on a beautiful private 90-acre airport. FlyMyPPG offers on-site lodging and RV camping. Space is limited, so don't wait to make your reservation. And don't miss the upcoming scheduled classes combining the efforts of One Up Adventures and FlyMyPPG at Wauchula Airport, January 23rd through the 31st, February 20th through the 28th, and March 20th through the 28th. Check out their websites to get your spot before they are filled. More than just soap, Charlie Soap has all-natural laundry detergents and household cleaners like no others. They are a supporter of Resurgence PPG. Get all the natural cleaning supplies you need at charliesoap.com. Celebrating their 10th anniversary, the team at FlyPPG Discovered Power Paragliding has helped people from around the world get into our great sport. They are the Midwest importers and distributors of adventure paramotors, trikes, and wings. Aviator Paramotor is a cornerstone for paramotor training while offering its students some of the top paramotoring equipment. With 2 locations in beautiful Florida, class availability has never been more convenient. With raving reviews, Lone Star Paramotor has become one of the most sought-out paramotor schools in the South, near San Antonio, Texas, offering foot launching and trike training classes and much more. Light up the skies with PPG lights and make one heck of an impression with countless patterns and colors on your paramotor. No aircraft can miss seeing you when you are flying at twilight with PPG lights. Nebraska Paramotor strives to be a central resource hub for the community training just southeast of Springfield, Nebraska. They will help you select the best paramotor, collider, and other accessories suited for your flying style. Wicked Wings logo can help you have a one-of-a-kind custom glider with one or multiple colors on your logo. Get all the information you need to order your logo today on the Our Paramotor Nation website. That's www.ourparamotornation.com. And while you're there, check out Our Paramotor Nation's upcoming shows, watch our past shows, and visit all of our sponsors and find out much, much more. And now, let's get started with Our Paramotor Nation.
Wow, what an entrance. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. Howdy. I don't know where that came from. Tonight, we got Jerry Delyea joining us. That Canadian dude is going to be with us talking about a lot of fun and awesome things and stories with us. So get a beverage for yourself. I think that's the best way to go about tackling on this show tonight. Get a beverage. There's Jerry's. He'll be telling us what that crazy mix is right there. I want to thank 2 new sponsors to our show. It's great to see the support that the show is getting and the support for the community through the show. iFly Indiana has sponsored us in the past, and they're back again. And a special happy birthday wish to Kevin Kemble. It's his birthday today. Also, Josh Bowden, Nebraska Paramotor. He's been helping out the show quite a bit in recent months, and he just became a sponsor for the show as well. Make sure you check their websites out. You can find them through the Our Paramotor Nation website. John Ripa, Ripman Ryden, is here. Hello, Johnny.
What's up, everybody? Hello, Mr. Jerry. Nice to see you. Excited to hear what you have to say.
John,
I'm excited to say it, I think.
we're going to start a little segment here, just a quick segment with John Ripman Ryden each week called What the Heck is Happening in Paramotors in Our Country. John, what's happening with paramotors.
So we got a couple of fly-ins coming up recently. The Bad Apples, May 13th to May 16th. Then we also got the Palm Bay fly-in. The dates are March 11th to the 14th. Oh, hold on. This just in.
Uh-oh.
Well, it looks like in the recent current events, the host and the sponsors decided to pull out, and the Palm Bay fly-in is canceled.
No more. Okay.
Oh, hold on. So it
Out off the press.
looks like there's a bunch of people that are going to get together that weekend, and they're going to have a mini fly-in.
So it's back on. That's great.
It's back on. Hold on. Wait a second. This just in.
What now?
The compound has been closed.
Oh,
There's no overnight camping at the compound
wow.
as of
Serious?
yesterday.
That's true.
Yeah. No overnight
Wow.
camping at the compound. I don't know what's
Not at
going to
all.
happen.
Not at
if,
all.
if they don't want the ATV guys there, they don't want people camping there.
Right.
And it looks like maybe the paramotor guys aren't going to be allowed there.
But
So,
Bad Apples is still on. So let's end that on a good note.
Bad Apples, May 13th to the 16th.
Very good. How about Dave Ruff, right from the Wednesday night show After Dark on the Trike Flyer channel? Hello, Dave. How are you, sir?
What up? What up?
You've had
How's everybody doing tonight?
You've had an active day and an active evening. In the pre-show, you ran off screen with a shotgun chasing after coyotes. That was a hell of a lot of fun to see. And then what's going on on the home front on Rough Acres today? What's the big news?
Well, woke up this morning to two 500-pound hogs out with the cows.
Okay.
Got them into their pens, and then was chased down by about 60 chickens because I had an empty feed bucket. Decided I was going to go get coffee. Went up the road. There was this poor guy off in a ditch. So went back, got my tractor to try to pull him out. That didn't work. And this car was literally at about a 45-degree angle in a ditch, high-sided. He had buried it and started to try to start it. And the car caught fire.
Yeah.
So assisted Cookville Fire Department with pulling hoses to put the car out. And then, tonight running out with a shotgun.
And what about your hands? Where have your hands been all this time?
Right here.
I thought you were delivering a calf. Oh, God. Okay.
Nope, not yet.
So
Get
Dave,
close.
Dave, has a heck of a lot of things going on at Rough Acres.
Hey, Dave.
He's also got the
Dave.
Yes.
Dave.
Disgusting. Stop it. Listen, Rough Acres, Dave Trike Flyer, you may not want to be his friend, but right now he should be your best friend because he is looking at who's putting things into the chat, little comments, and he's going to put those names into the wheel and all the way up until 9:45 Eastern Standard Time. So 45 minutes into the show. Now, here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to try to do this every once in a while. I'm going to show you 3 prizes, and whoever's name gets drawn, you're going to get your choice of prizes. So the 3 prizes that I pulled out of the prize box tonight is this awesome t-shirt from Pear Swag. It's got Pear Swag on the front. It's got Fly or Die on the back. Jerry, isn't that cool? The little skeleton flying. You want it? Well, put your name into the... And you'll get a Pear Swag sticker. This is a size large. So that's one choice. The second choice is from Fly PPG. It's an extra large pair of flying gloves. Very stylish, very nice. And from Aviator Paramotor is an extra large Fly Products t-shirt. So whoever wins, you'll get a choice of those 3. I'll go through those at the end as well for you. There you go. Hi, Jerry Delyey. It is pronounced Delyey. Yay.
David got it. David got it. Finally, Ripa.
Yes, Ripa now knows how to say Delyey.
I thought it was Jerry Delyea.
Yeah, I know. Or Delugas or Deliey.
Jerry, how long have you been? First of all, by the way, before we even start, if you haven't gone to Jerry's web, how many subscribers do you have on YouTube right now? Was it like 1,700 or so?
854 only.
Oh, 850. So that's right. You're still under 1,000. So let's see if we can help him out tonight. Go to Jerry Delyey's YouTube channel. You can pop over there and pop right back on. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. Jerry puts out a video probably once every 2 weeks, I would estimate or so. And they're a lot of fun. What's interesting about Jerry's, is a lot of times a lot of people don't like to just see someone flying around, but the conversation he has with you is captivating and fun, and the scenery is drop dead gorgeous. The mountains up there out of British Columbia, right on the Alberta, isn't that right? Alberta, Canada border.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. How long have you been flying for?
1993, 1994, I guess I started. So
Now, was that paramotors or was that skydiving?
well, we started out, my brother actually got me into skydiving. I think it was for my 30th birthday. And we did that for the summer. And then the next summer, I happened to be up. There's a fire service road that runs up to where the launch is now up there. And I bumped into an old friend and he was like, dude, you got to try this paragliding thing. And that's where that started. And we were already doing some skydiving. And yeah, I went down in the field and trained for a couple hours, pulling the glider up, and away we went and started paragliding. No training. Just go.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Now,
don't crash, he said.
and then when did the paramotoring come into play?
Paramotoring came into play about 7.5 years ago.
Okay.
So I'd been flying paragliders and flying tandems and acting retarded with that stuff for quite a while. And then we got into the paramotors, and yeah, from there, I love it. I hardly free fly much anymore, but I still do a little bit. So
now you told me an interesting story the other day about a ceremony that took place right after you flew. Would you please share that with all of us? Because this is a crazy. I mean, we see a lot of people do some things like, oh, let's go fly to a restaurant, or let's go fly. David's flown to Home Depot or Lowe's, I think it was Home Depot or Lowe's.
Yeah.
But you did something extremely unique that I don't know if anybody else has ever done. Why don't you go and share the story?
Well, we came across a thing on Canadian TV, was called Weird Weddings. And we saw they were looking for people to be on this TV show called Weird Weddings. So anyways, my wife, my prior wife, anyway, she was like, well, we should try that. So we applied to go on the show, and we told them what our shtick would be, that we would be having a fly-in wedding. And yeah, lo and behold, late in the summer, like weather could have crapped us out, anything could have went sideways. And we pulled off, I think it's probably the first fly-in wedding where the bride, the groom, the groomsmen, the bridesmaids, everybody. We couldn't get the preacher to fly in. I offered to take her tandem, but she wouldn't go. So yeah, the whole wedding party flew in. All our friends flew in, and actually Mueller's have a flight school in Cochrane, Alberta, and they were kind of like the grandfathers of the sport. Willie Mueller was in Canada with hang gliding and paragliding a long time ago, and they actually closed their school down. Willie's son Chris closed the school down, and so that their friends, our friends from Alberta could come all out and fly into the wedding as well. So I don't know, we probably had 50 gliders fly into the wedding.
And it was all paragliding, correct?
Yeah, all paragliding. Wow. I think one hang glider might have flown in, a guy named Serge, but yeah, everybody flew in, and we held a couple of gliders up in the air for the girls to get changed into their wedding finery out in the field, and you had the ceremony right there in the field. So
and I know I saw some of the pictures, some of the gliders, the lines had ribbons, different colored ribbons. That was really neat to see. Is this a video that's on the YouTube channel?
It's on my YouTube channel. I think it's titled my Paragliding My Early Days, or Flying My Early Days. So if you go back and look through the videos, it's not all that far back, within the last year. So yeah, flying the early days. Yeah, and all the crazy stuff we were getting up to, learning how to fly these things.
So what did you guys do for the divorce? I'm kidding. I'm just joking. Was there a story? No.
Yeah, I handed her a paraglider and I said, get. Not really, but anyway. Would have been a good thing to do.
All right, so what are you drinking? You've got two different bottles there.
I got a water bottle. Are you drinking tonight?
Yes, I'm drinking straight vodka out of, no, this is water. I'm just drinking.
Nice. You like I've got bamboo rum. Oops, sorry, backwards.
That looks good.
Yeah. So it's a Pirate's blend. It's caramelly tasting. So
okay. Ripper, you have that? Ripper, you're on mute.
Ripper.
I'm saving it.
Okay.
What do you have there, John?
Nothing. I got absolutely nothing tonight.
Dave? Right. Nothing.
Dave, you drinking anything tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Old Smoky,
There you go.
Yeah.
Tennessee moonshine.
All right, so let's talk
But
about.
I'm not drinking too much until I get the names in here.
So you've been flying paramotor for, you said, for how long now? The last 4 years?
7 years or so.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 7 years. And then how long ago did you start this YouTube channel?
I started working on it in earnest in the last year. I've had it for 7 years or something, I think. I've always been a video buff, but you can imagine back in the day, we never had cameras and gear and stuff like we do now. So easy nowadays. Even a hack like me, I can find my way on the computer and actually produce videos that I kind of don't mind. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's fun.
Very cool.
But last year has been the most serious,
Yeah.
trying to make good content. So
I know Dave is just starting up his channel too, so make sure you like and subscribe that one as well. Have you ever heard of this organization that's on my ball cap here? It's called Resurgence PPG.
I absolutely have. Yeah.
So one of the questions I'd like to ask you in regards to that is, who is your favorite pilot that started an organization called Resurgence PPG, Todd Scandrett? And it is a 501c, Todd Scandrett, that helps adaptive veterans in the U.S. To learn how to fly. Who is that pilot? Who's your favorite pilot?
I would be Todd Scandrett, and
Oh, wow.
I would have known that, but I would never have, just pulled it out of my hat.
Yeah, it
But
would.
what they do there is fantastic from what I know of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, above and beyond as far as I'm concerned, looking after people the way they do.
Yeah.
Super good organization, good crew, man.
I like asking that question each show now, not because Todd puts me up to it, but because it's a good way to talk about how we support Resurgence PPG on this show. It is the one philanthropy that we do actively support at this point. So very good. You've been flying for a while. Tell us about what you're flying, because when you watch, it's fun because when you watch the videos, there was a little war, I think about 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh my God.
I
love that cowling.
I came across Jerry's video and I put a comment like, what the F is this? You have this stupid PPG Gorilla sticker on the front of your trike. And immediately I sent one to cover it.
And then I saw it and I said, what the heck is that sticker doing on there? There's
there.
a nice spot for a round one.
And that's kind of where I first started actually talking to you guys too, really, was through the whole sticker fiasco. And I took a lot of flack. I took some flack actually prior to that, to do with stickers on my trike, and guys calling me all NASCAR and everything. And I was like, I'm just putting stickers on my buggy. Now I got all your guys' stickers, and there's more coming in the mail apparently as well.
Oh, that's great.
Actually, I know you are in Canada, and I don't know if you would want this or not, but there's a spot right on top of one that says "Got" that you could stick this one. If you wanted, I will send this one to you. Would you be okay putting an American flag on a Canadian?
That's a tough one.
No, that's not tough.
There's only 72 people watching right now to hear you turn me down.
Yeah, no. You know what? I love the United States, dude. I've traveled down the Oregon, California coast. I've been to Arizona. I've been to Hawaii. I've been all through the interior down to the coast. Idaho, I love. Absolutely, I'll rock that sticker. And we'll go over Tucker's sticker.
I want one on the hub because I got the one on the front. I want the one on the hub so I can see one on each angle.
Yeah, it's going on there, Dave. Absolutely. And it might go over Risky Biscuits too, because too much feedback from the Tucker, man. I'm telling you, a little, but not too much.
Show the love.
Show the love.
We can do things like this because of the wonderful support of all of our sponsors, but also the people that help us out in the super chat, like Angela, who is a very strong supporter of the show, and she just donated $10 to the show. So Angela, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. As always. Thank you, honey. Cool. So tell us about what you're flying, because it's really a unique aircraft. I've never seen one with the way that sits in front of you, where your feet wrap around it, your leg wrap around it.
Yeah, it's Fresh Breeze. So prior to that, they had the Skip One trike. Remember, it had the bar that came down the front in front of you. It was a fold-up style trike, and it had that Hearth Monster engine on it. And I flew that. I really liked it, actually. It was a fun trike to fly. But when it was time to upgrade, I definitely wanted to go Fresh Breeze again. And especially when I saw they come out with a 4-stroke engine. It's got a little overhead cam on it. It's throttle body fuel injection. It's got nice suspension, cruise control, brakes. only front brake, foot throttle with stirrups so that you can rest your feet in them. So this thing is decked out. I mean, it's so comfortable to fly. Foot throttle rocks in my mind. And I've got that paired up now with the Dudek Boson. And that's the new wing for Dudek that is for competition trike flying or tandem flying. So for cross-country flying. So it's a pretty hot ship. It's got tip steering and it's a reflex glider too.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was a little bit of a, when I bought the wing, I talked to the Derek in Ontario about it. And I said, is that going to be too much of a step for me flying in the mountains? I mean, I'm capable to fly the wing, but I just wasn't sure if it was the application for flying in the mountains. And so he said, well, you can get the Cabrio. He said, that's a step down, but that's actually slower than the Nucleon. So I gave it a week or so to think about it. And I just said, yeah, no, let's go with the fast. Who wants to go slower?
Yeah. Jerry, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you do a video about a year ago on your trike? I think you did some kind of, you went over the whole trike on the video.
I did. And I've got over 10,000 views, 11,000 views on that video.
Yeah, actually. I mean, I watched the whole video. It was interesting, you know, and how the trike was made, how solid it looked. And, you know, I do remember.
The only problem we've had with them so far is in the valve cover. In these cold Canadian winters, it's plastic valve cover and the spark plug boot goes down through the valve cover. That part of the plastic in there shrinks in the cold and it moves off of its seat a little bit and you wind up with an oil leak. And I wound up stranded across the river late one evening and I had a hard time getting back across the river with it.
Yikes.
Yeah, I do have a video called Stranded, I think. And yeah, it was
That's a tough one. You get stranded with that thing. It's tough.
Dude, oil all over everything and just like no oil left in the machine hardly. And starting it up and trying to cross the trees to get across the river. And then the oil would be coming out of that hole and it would force the spark plug boot off and the engine would die right as I'm crossing the river. And I think it took me 3 times to get enough altitude fast enough to jump across the river and get on the slough on the other side. So
wow,
interesting. And it was cold out too.
Never a dull moment with these machines.
No, there never is, man. But other than that, the 4-stroke's fantastic. I love it. For flying in the mountains the way we do, I mean, we're out there, you can see in the videos, sometimes we're a long ways from anything. And I really like the 4-stroke because so far, other than the oil leak, and we have that issue fixed
It's
now,
been good to you, yeah.
It's been really good to me, yeah. So, and it starts nice all the time. Electric start and the whole works.
Yeah,
I like
awesome.
it.
So Jerry, you mentioned 2 things there, and I'd like you to, I guess there's 2 questions in there. One is you're flying in the mountains, and I really believe that you got to have a lot of rotor off these mountains. How is it flying in the mountains, or how do you overcome that issue? I mean, I think for the most part, you're flying out of the same airport almost always, correct?
Pretty much. I mean, in the summertime, we have another site north of town that's an old mill site. And we have a waiver to go in there. There's just 3 of us, my brother and Troy and I, that are allowed to fly in there. So there's just gravel. And so that's north of town, about a half an hour. Change things up to fly out there a little bit. But yeah, mostly out of the airport. I don't know, man, like the biggest thing for people flying in the mountains, and I found that out very much so this summer, going from flying in the mountains, someplace where I've been flying for almost 30 years, and paragliding for a lot of that, and really knowing where all the thermals are happening, where all the valleys are letting air out, where everything is going on, to move to another place in the mountains and have to relearn all of that stuff. So I found this summer I had to tame my flying back a little bit more, be a little more cautious, and slowly learn the area that I was flying in. It's only 4 hours south of here. The dynamics were totally different. I mean,
well, that's a great question to ask then for new people that are watching this show that go out to fly in an area that they're not familiar with. Maybe not, it's not so much in mountains, but maybe
right.
You know, like we have a fly-in here. It's in September. A lot of us went to, called the Dave Purdon fly-in, and there's some foothill mountains there right along the Ohio River, and there's a lot of rotor that comes off those. So how would you, if someone comes to your airport, or if you're going to another airport, what would you suggest is the best way to learn that area, or when you go to a new place, how you take on a new area?
How I do it and how you should do it are probably two different things. I go out there and go slow and feel my way around. And then I work my way up to later flights in the day and a little bit earlier in the evening. I do it carefully by feel for myself. Unless there's something I really need to know about a site, like that you couldn't fly there or something, I think getting a hold of somebody, that's the biggest thing. Find a local pilot that can let you in on all the little secrets of the area. And there's lots, let's face it.
Yeah, get a little briefing from the local
Because
guys.
even if I come and fly with you guys out there in Florida, I mean, there's going to be things that I don't know, right? Like obviously sea breezes, alligators.
Air's so smooth here, you don't have to worry.
I know, that's crazy. But yeah, it is. It's different. It's different flying here. I was a liaison at the ski hill when they first built Kicking Horse Mountain Resort in Golden. And I was the guy that you had to go through in order to fly at the resort. So I would coach the guys, anyone that wanted to come from out of town and fly it at the resort. They would have to talk to me first and get the lowdown on it. So yeah, that's the best way to find out, is talking to people that fly the sites. So yeah.
So the other half of that question was this, is the cold weather. And now here's going to be where the communication barrier is, because a lot of people have a hard time converting Fahrenheit to Celsius.
Right.
0 degrees for you is 32 for me.
Right.
32 for me is hell in a freezer for John Ripa. Okay. John,
Where are you, David?
so I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, so you get winter there.
Yeah, we get winter.
Yeah.
Winter for John is 60.
Right. Yeah.
Johnny?
Except this morning. It was 39, he said.
John's still frozen.
We had a cold morning, but that was it's rare.
Yeah. But he had his long johns on and heated gloves, I think, and everything. So
tell us about your wear and Resurgence PPG. Todd wants to know, in your opinion, what is the best flight suit to wear in the cold?
Oh my God, layers.
There.
I used to wear a flight suit paragliding, but now it's literally long johns, sweatpants or something like that, blue jeans because I'm lazy usually, and then a shell over top of that. Really good winter boots, like I'm talking like the big ones, like that are really toasty warm, like the Arctic boots. What are they called? Sorels, I think. Those, and then a long john layer, a t-shirt, and then I have a puffy, another puffy, and then a big shell that's not only just a shell, it's kind of insulated too on top of that, and a smelly balaclava, something to cover your face so you're not freezing your forehead off. Your muscle. It's terrible. It's horrible.
All right. So what is the coldest temperature you have flown in, and what's the average temperature you usually fly in the wintertime?
Average. Okay. So I was out yesterday. We launched, it was -9 Celsius.
So, wow.
So
that's
20,
that's probably about 20 or so. Yeah, that's probably about 20 for us.
Yeah. And then on a fast wing, you're doing 55 kilometers an hour. It's cold. The coldest I have flown in was one winter. We get inversions here in the mountains where the cold air gets trapped in the valley bottom and then it's warmer up above it. And it does it sometimes half the winter long. Like, it's crazy how long it could be inverted. So I launched off the paraglider at Mount 7, valley bottom's 2,600 feet. The launch is 6,300 feet. We took my old snow machine up to launch, and it was 35 below 0 Celsius in the valley. So that's pretty much almost the same in Fahrenheit, below 0. And we took the sled up and we got on launch and it was -5 Celsius. And we were taking clothes off and hanging out in the sunshine. It was beautiful. But then you flew back down and it was back down into the -35. Goggles froze up. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But average -10, I don't mind.
Yeah. When your eyes start like freezing up and you got, snot coming down into your face mat, that's when it gets a little tough.
Hey, I know someone who knows cold. Harley's in the chat, and I know he's flown in some cold air. I mean, hats off to that guy. Whew.
Yeah.
I know. I always layer up like you do, Jerry, and I usually wear about 5 pairs of pants between long johns and sweats and jeans and everything. And I'm about to tell John something that I haven't been completely honest with. My buddy Shandor is in the chat, and he just got his flight suit, I think today. He sent me a video from one of our sponsors, Fly PPG, and I will be getting one from them, which I've already ordered. Sorry, John. So I plan on getting rid of all the layers and going to a real warm flight suit here soon because I need it.
Yeah.
I need it.
I couldn't do it. I don't think I would want to do it if I was foot launching.
Really?
You guys are better than trike pilots launching in that cold weather with foot launch. Yeah, that's tough, man.
Well, I mean, I'm foot launching with 5-6 layers on, so how bad could it be? So,
I find it hard to hold the brakes with gloves on in cold weather.
you learned to
I'll
do
actually launch with my throttle hand glove and then take this hand off and put it on in the air.
it's something you learn to
Just
do.
don't get the tactile feel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for sure.
I don't even own long pants. I have to fly in shorts in this cold.
Jerry,
Hey, Dave, you can mute him, right?
right? Jerry, tell me about the time you crashed.
Oh, the paramotor?
Yes.
That was my first crash on a paramotor. And that was 3 years ago. It was when I bought this new trike. It was brand new. It wasn't 4 months old, I don't think. And my brother, Barry, and I were scouting out a different spot to fly. The farmer in Creston, where we were flying, he lets us fly out of his field. Well, he hadn't cut it yet, so the grass was 3 feet deep, so you couldn't fly there. It rained all night, and we were debating launching on a narrow gravel road or launching from this less grassy spot on the field over. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, my brother was retraining or recerting on paramotoring, so he was just getting back into it. So I said, well, I'll try fly this spot, see if this works out for us. Wet grass, wet wing, deep grass. And I took off with this thing. And it's something I never counted on happening. This 4-stroke engine has enough power that you can take off when you're parachutally stalled. And that's what happened. So it pushed that thing into the air after about 100 feet of going through this grass. I had water on my glasses. I was hard to see. I looked up. I thought the wing was above me, but it was lagging back, and it pushed off into the air, and then it stalled, and it went this way, and I hammed on the brake on the other side, and I went over the top and landed upside down. And I only broke my baby finger, so it wasn't too bad, but $2,000 damage to the trike.
Oh no.
Yeah. So even pilots that don't crash often crash sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. Didn't you have a motor out or a crash with your wife? Or am I thinking of someone else?
That's probably somebody else. I know I flew my late girlfriend tandem, and
Okay.
we barely got off the ground with that trike, the old Fresh Breeze trike.
Okay.
I strapped her in my lap, and we did a hang test, and we were taking off on a frozen slough.
Sounds
And
fun.
that was fun. The trouble with it is when you're dealing with the girls is they bring along the kitchen sink and everything else. So you couldn't be heavier than what I was. So it took about 1,000 feet of runway. It was like an A330 or something just to get the thing in the air. But we flew for 40 minutes, so that was all right. It's not very high is all.
Was this crash your scariest moment?
No, that wasn't. Scariest moment of flying for me goes back to about 1998, I guess, somewhere around that time. And we were launching off Mount 7, which is 3,500 feet above the valley. And they were forecasting thunderstorms for late in the day. We sat on launch. We were keeners back in the day, and we sat on launch for hours that day. Like we were just always wait. Oh, it'll die. The wind will die off, and we'll just do a quick sled ride, right? Because the truck had been driven down or whatever. So we waited, and the sky looked fine. There was no sign of it. There was no popcorn clouds. There was nothing to indicate the thunderstorms that were coming. And we decided to launch off. So Troy launched first, and we had radios. And by the time I just got launched, Troy came on the radio and he said, "Turn south." And I said, "Turn south? Why?" He said, "Turn and face south right now." And as I was creeping out into the valley, I turned and faced south, and we were in full on gust front, and it was blowing 60 to 80 kilometers an hour. The gravel pit where we sometimes land, we sometimes ridge soar when it's strong out of the south. The pine trees in the gravel pit looked like grass in a field. And we spent the next 45 minutes or so trying to get down. The gravel pit, the air was hitting against it so hard that it pushed us up 500 feet above the gravel pit, which is only 200 or 300 feet high on its own. And we were taking big collapses, going backwards. And we spent about 40 minutes of pretty much, I mean, if you weren't flying that thing, you were going to be augured into the ground pretty hard. Thankfully, we were both competent pilots and we never stopped flying them. Troy wound up landing on top of the hill in a little ball diamond. And that was sketchy because you're right in the heart of the rotor there. And I chose to go backwards into Golden over top of the hill. And I flew backwards past the 7-Eleven and landed on a little access road right in town going backwards. So that's probably the scariest thing I've had happen on a paraglider because you were stuck, you know, and it comes down to that pilot decision making again, right? You know, it's all fine until it's not. And then all of a sudden you're in trouble and it's like, and you see people doing it, you know, you're taking chances with your life when you're taking chances with the weather in my mind. And I think I've learned from that over the years, but yeah, pretty sketchy. Nobody got hurt, but it definitely could have been bad. So, yep.
Wow. You've been flying for 7 years. I guess when people, you know, John's been flying for 4 years. Dave, I think, has been flying for 3 or 4 years. I've been flying for over 2 years. You know, I guess there's two questions I have from that. What are the biggest changes you've been seeing in our sports, whether it's equipment or trends, things like that? And then the second question I want to ask you is when you're seeing people, you know, recently we saw a paramotor pilot out of California dressed as Santa Claus, tried to fly a trike, didn't give himself enough runway and ended up across the street in the power lines, unfortunately, but was able to come down safely, thank goodness. You know, when you see people making mistakes like this, I mean, what's your first thought or how you're assessing it? So I guess first question is the changes that you've seen, and then when you're seeing people making errors like this.
I mean, the changes in the sport are so huge from the glider aspect from what we used to fly. I mean, there was some gliders out there that got bad names for themselves because people were actually dying on them. They were not good gliders. They flew fine, they thermaled fine and stuff, but they would take collapses and stuff and they'd become a big problem. I think the gear is huge. Training, it's so nice to see the quality of training nowadays out there, and you don't have to look too far and around to see it. I wish I would have been trained. I mean, I self-taught myself everything. I self-taught beeline stalls and big ears and spirals, and I was doing barrel rolls on my tandem every once in a while with customers that were into doing it. I got lucky because you don't know what you don't know, right? So I think in the sport nowadays, especially with YouTube, you can learn a lot of good stuff, but you can also learn a lot of bad stuff of how and what to do. You know, you see guys taking off out of tight areas where you just don't stand a chance. You know, if something goes wrong, like Santa Claus had happen there, if something goes wrong, and it probably 9 times out of 10 won't, but it can go really sideways. It's not a sport where you're riding a bicycle and you're going to fall off and skin your knee. You can really mess yourself up and mess somebody up on the ground if you hit them. And I've seen firsthand people in the sport. I watched people hit the ground hard, like bad enough to lose legs and stuff over the years. Good friends, incidentally, as well. And you can't be trained well enough, but you also can't take it serious enough. A lot of times paragliders are looked at like we're not aircraft, you know, especially around airports and stuff. And you hear people saying that some airplane pilots will view us as non-aircraft, essentially. We're just flying these wings. But we are flying. We're flying wings, and we're really vulnerable when we're flying them because they're not a fixed wing and they're not solid. And if we make mistakes, it's super, super costly. So the biggest thing that I think in the sport is airmanship and pilot stewardship and decision making. I made some bad decisions in my lifetime flying paragliders, and it's always been something that I did that has ever caused me an issue. You know, apart from thermal flying where you get whacked really hard or something and things go sideways. But anytime I've had a little incident or anything, it's always down to me. It always is.
I will agree with you, Jerry. It's all about decision making, and I learned the hard way myself.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. yeah, you're better to be on the ground wishing you were in the air than the other way around. It's just,
You ever get into a situation where you had to throw the reserve?
I haven't. Well, I was in a situation where not on the trike, where I had to throw a reserve, but I chose not to. And I managed to get the wing to open. It was flying cross country in a competition. It wasn't a competition that time. We were just flying prior to the meet. And yeah, I fell 4,000 or 5,000 feet with my wing just candling out above me. It was a mess, and I kept working to get it open. And when I opened it up, I was in behind the front range of mountains in behind, and I could smell the dirt on the ground. And I followed a hawk out back to cloud base and managed to climb back out to cloud base. I probably should have thrown reserve maybe that day, but I had it under control high enough to where I think I was all right. But I did have a guy throw my reserve by accident for me once.
Oh, so no, tell us that.
Oh, God. So I'm launching this fella off when there was no wind. It was just brutal. It was hard launch conditions. And I'm launching this guy off, and we had an aborted launch. So it went really well. We just kind of ran down the bank and stopped, laid the wing down. Well, what I found out later was that when we were walking back up to reset up, I couldn't see him. He's behind me, and I've got the wing and everything. Well, he had grabbed my reserve handle and was laughing at his buddies like he's towing me up the mountain. And I couldn't feel it. He wasn't like he was trying not to be felt, but he pulled it enough to pull the pins out.
Yikes.
Yeah. So we got reset up and we launched, and we got out there about 150 feet or so. And all of a sudden my feet go straight in the air. And I look behind me. I'm like, you're kidding. The reserve is out. And I couldn't believe it. And from talking to his friend after, his friend actually approached me and he said, no, he was holding onto that yellow handle while you were walking up the hill. So that sucked. But that's the only reserve ride after 28 years. So got to be doing something kind of right.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the safety. What do you think keeps you safe? What are you doing that's making you a better, safer pilot? And especially with the longevity that you've had, keeping you from becoming complacent?
Yeah, and that's a huge issue too, David. It's I mean, we were out flying yesterday, and there's a storm coming in yesterday evening, so we were expecting a little bit of wind, and we were 10 miles from the airport, probably down the valley in the middle of a slough in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's going to take you 4 hours to walk out of there no matter. And it got really crazy rough all of a sudden. And I mean, I was seconds away from deciding just to land it. And I know with the storm coming, you're not going to hike that trike out of there in a day. This is going to be a week-long project with snowshoes and boards and stuff to get the trike out. So you kind of wind up in a situation where you're like, oh God, like I got to fly out. I don't want to have to do all this stuff. I have a job and whatever, but I will land out, and I have landed out when things go sideways for me. I mean, I think as a pilot, you have to know your limits. You have to really know the limits of the kind of conditions you're flying in and where you're flying, and understand the dynamics of it all. You know, I see some people, and it's pretty good. For the most part, I see a lot of good stuff on videos on YouTube, but I see people taking off in places and that they don't have enough room, flying in rotor that they don't understand is rotor, just not taking the time to learn as a pilot and to hold yourself back sometimes. And especially nowadays in the world of YouTube, where people are every guy, it seems like you buy a paramotor, should come with a camera nowadays. And
and everybody looks like it's perfect all the time. They're not showing you the bad stuff that it took for them to get to where they are.
Exactly. And I think, if you're a kind of a guy that can put your camera on and then go about your business and actually fly the glider and not pay too much attention to that camera, I think a lot of times that camera will get you in trouble, because you'll be trying to make the footage look better than what it maybe would otherwise. So it's all about being a pilot in my mind, and I think that's what's kept me safe and avoiding bad weather.
I saw a comment on Facebook about a week or two ago, and it really bothered me. And I didn't, I don't like to stir things up, but it said, I just got into paramotoring. What camera do you recommend I use? I'm like, oh, please, no. Because as all four of us know, because each of us makes some sort of videos on YouTube, that's a whole nother thing to think of. Jerry, I think you have 3 cameras?
Yeah, sometimes 4.
Oh my gosh. And to sync them, if you are going to sync them, to start them, to make sure there's batteries, to make sure they're on the right
In
angle,
the cold. Yeah.
make sure the audio is working. For God's sakes, please,
Yeah.
if you are new to paramotoring, just
Don't-
focus on what you learned. Set up, be safe.
Yeah.
Don't give a crap about your video until you've been flying for enough time to, really have
To
something
hope-
here to show.
Yeah, to hopefully get it right. I mean, I've launched where I forgot to do my helmet up, and I mean, I've been flying all these years, but I've caught myself with my helmet undone, and never with my chest strap undone. I don't know, maybe once even, but all the cameras were running though.
Okay.
You know, and that's after all these years, right?
I want to ask all three of you the same question. I want each of you to give me an answer. If you were teaching a new person to fly, how many flights should that person have under their belt before they even put a camera on? Dave.
30 to 50.
Ripa.
I don't care if they just throw one on. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Jerry?
I think you can have a camera on. I don't think it should be anywhere that impedes anything. So a helmet cam's out if you're doing a backpack one, maybe. Because I mean, you see it. I've seen it where lines get caught in GoPros. Maybe put a chesty on and then forget about it. Don't be messing with it. I mean, you saw those 2 guys that collided with their gliders that were playing with their cell phones, right? There was a video out a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you start messing around and it's fine, but you need to be pilot first, photographer second, 100%.
Good advice, Jerry. Thanks.
So, new person to the show has a question. Welcome, Rocky Mountain Spider Freaks. Rocky Mountain Spider Freaks. Cool.
You're Canadian.
How much time between taking an interest till the time your first solo flight in this hobby? So I guess you were doing paragliding at the time, and then you saw paramotoring, and how much time between the first time you saw it and said, oh, I might be interested in doing that, and then you started throwing the motor on your back?
I was interested in it in 1996 already. So goes way back. A friend of mine, the guy that taught me how to fly paragliders had bought a paramotor, maybe 96, 98. And I knew then already, and I was kind of a noob at flying paragliders. I already knew then that I would fly a paramotor one day. And then there's where our flight park is in Golden for free fly paragliding. There's a ranch there, a big campground and a hobby ranch. Anyways, I managed that for the first 2.5 years while it was being opened, and built it all and was organizing all of that stuff. So the guy that owned the ranch, he had a paramotor and he said I could use it. I didn't realize he meant when he was there. So when he wasn't there, I strapped it on and went for a fly. Backpack, it was a Pap Air. So I took that for a fly. And then the guy that taught me to paraglide, I flew his old paramotor when it was completely wore out about 10 years ago. I strapped it on my back and did a forward and no wind and no training at all whatsoever, but launched it first try and took a fly on it. So for me, when I bought the Trike, Trikes are different. I think I heard Dave talking about it. They're different. You don't feel it in your butt. You don't feel it in your hands. You have assist. It's all, the Trike is just attached to, you're detached from the feeling of the wing. So it's a different beast to launch, but I just wrecked a few props and kept at it until I sorted it out.
Now, in all your videos, you're flying Trike. Do you do any foot launching at all?
Yeah, I bought one this summer, actually. I bought an old Adventure F3. They're so old, they're probably older than you are, actually, David.
Well, David, if you were watching his recent videos, you would have saw that he foot launched recently in one of his videos.
Yeah. John knows.
Thank you, John.
And it didn't go too bad, eh, John? How far?
No, you got off the ground. It was fine.
That prop was close to the ground, though.
And that was an old setup, boy. It's amazing.
Oh, terrible. I still have it. It runs nice, so I'm going to play with changing. I'm not going to fly that thing very much, but I might try it with the Nucleon once. I'll be light on it, but I'll just go in calm air and see how it goes. Should go good. But if I ever get a chance here to get a few bucks, I want to get a brand new paramotor. And I don't know what I would buy yet. I'm still looking at them, seeing what they are. But yeah, I'd like to have a backpack paramotor in the arsenal. Different. It'll be fun for me because I like to go, like, there's places I can go and fly back in the mountains that are like way back. I have a few videos out where I'm, 100K in the bush and launching off a riverbed and different things like that near a boat ramp and stuff. So I like doing that. So backpack paramotor would be a lot more along my line for doing that.
Awesome.
Dave, what do you prefer, your trike or your backpack?
Me, Dave, or Dave?
Dave, rough. Oh, you have a trike too, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
these guys are
I
trike
fly
guys.
trike. Yeah, I fly trike. I'm foot, and I'm also a P3 free
Okay.
flight. I don't know, it's hard to say, man. It's really hard to say. It really depends on the situation.
Right.
Since getting this new tandem paramotor I've got, I'm really starting to take a liking back to trike again. But you know, come summertime, you'll probably see me out there screwing around with the foot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's how it would go with me as well. I would fly them both in different conditions is all. Trike in the winter is nice. It's easy. A lot easier.
Yeah, wet grass, real hot weather, zero wind. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to get to the wheel here in just a second. I got another question for Jerry. I want to give some suggestion to everybody that watches the show. Quickest way to get yourself put and timed out is by insulting the host of the show, like Humble Paramotor did, saying, "Shut up, Dave Wolf. You don't know anything. You've only been flying for 2 years and you shouldn't be giving anyone advice." Whole reason I have people like Jerry on the show is to get better advice than I could possibly give, where you might be right. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe you shouldn't watch the show.
Yeah, but you know what, though? That's the whole paragliding community. And it's what I kind of like about YouTube, and especially your show and some of the other shows out there, is we get together. We have the opportunity, and especially for people like me who are way isolated comparatively speaking, you guys get to be around better pilots, worse pilots, you know, fly-ins and stuff. And, you know, I'm kind of isolated out here. So it's nice to have this forum where we can talk together and grow together as pilots. It's not about hacking on each other like some do. It's about learning together and having fun together and being safe. So.
It's our Paramotor Nation. It's all of us together.
Right.
I don't believe it.
Well, here's the thing, because I'm going to respond. I saw that comment as I was doing the wheel. And here's the thing, Humboldt. I've known Dave for just about 2 years. I think he was flying before I met him. And I've been flying for just about 5 years now. I started in March of 2016. And Dave is every bit as good, if not better than I. So this is where we learn. This is where we get advice. This is where we sit around a campfire as pilots and be friends. So
last week, Jerry, you were in the chat, and we had a great show with Alexis Quintana, who's been flying less amount of time than any of us have. And yet she came in and become an instructor. Does that mean someone shouldn't take advice from her?
Yeah, not at all.
Oh.
I mean, I listened to that. I watched that show, and she's around it. She's totally immersed in it. When
That's
you're immersed,
right.
when you're immersed in something like that, you're going to grow fast. It's like John saying, you know, well, the amount of flying that he gets to do compared to what I get to do out here in Canada. I mean, John's probably a better pilot than I am in some respects, just because of the amount that he gets to fly on a regular basis. You know, that skill just builds and builds. Right?
It's about being current. If I don't fly for a couple of weeks, I got to go back to square one, you know?
Right.
It's just, if you're flying every day, you know, your skills are sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
otherwise you're back to putting props on the wall.
yeah, that's right. Listen, I have a heck of a collection, but in all fairness, 2 of them weren't my fault.
Yeah.
A battery fell through one of them, and then the speed bar came undone and went through it. So the other three I crashed. I take full credit for those.
And I think I watched all of those.
I had them all. I had them all on film.
Jerry, what is it that still makes this sport enjoyable to you after all these years?
Well, I'm coming from the paragliding thing, and you know, I talk to lots of people that say, well, when you're paragliding, it must be so nice because you get to look around, and free flying, get to look around at the scenery and stuff. You do, but the honest thing is, I mean, I've been in lift at 2,000 feet a minute maintained in these mountains and up to 15,000 feet. There's most flights where you're doing cross country and thermal flying. You really aren't getting, you get to see it, but you don't get to look at it and really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. The paramotors are fantastic. I like that I can fly slow, I can fly low. The favorite part for me about flying a paraglider years and years ago was coming into land or soaring the South Cliffs, you know, the trees, dragging my wingtip on the trees and and flying in close. So I really always enjoyed the proximity style flying. So now having the paramotor, it's just, I can't believe I'm that passionate about it still after all of these years. My heart races when I go to get on that buggy. I get excited and I feel really good for the whole week after I fly.
That never goes away, that feeling, huh?
No,
That heart
years,
racing.
man.
It's crazy.
Stays with you. And especially when you fly in the air I flew in yesterday, it stays with you for the whole week.
Yeah.
100%, and you get back safe. So yeah, it's a great sport. It's a cheap man's way to fly. I'll tell you a little story. So the Mount 7 launch in Golden is at 6,300 and some feet. So prior to hang gliders coming there, and I think they were starting to come there and tinker with the idea of flying off this site in the 80s maybe. But there was a fire tower, there was another building, and it was all treed all the way around. You had to climb the tower to look out. So I think it was the hang gliders from Alberta started chopping a few trees down after a while. But I remember hiking up there with my dad when I was a kid. I was probably 10 years old and standing up there on that fire tower, and I was watching some ravens soaring in the wind back and forth. And remember, I was one of these kids, always had my hand out the window of the car doing this. I don't know, it seemed like it was going to be a part of me no matter what. So standing up there on that fire tower that day, and I told my dad, I said, man, how good must that be to be able to fly like that? And that was the exact spot where I took my first paraglider flight, and I flew probably 1,500 flights off of that hill.
Wow.
400 people tandem, and at night and in a snowstorm and through an inversion and on and on and on. So many exciting times. But that dream right on the mountain came true in the exact spot. Rare as hen's teeth, man. That never happens.
You know, Jerry, I could talk to you all night. I just love hearing your stories, man. It's just, it's a joy. I hope you come back. I hope you come back on the show in the future.
I would, you know what? Thanks you guys for having me on the show. I was so excited to come on. I truly was. I watch it all the time, and you guys are all a bunch of characters. Super, super cool people, man. I love it.
I said,
and we follow you too, you know, just so you know.
I said to John and Dave before the show, this could be one of the easiest shows. Just let Jerry talk. He's got so many cool stories to share. But that's the great thing. Like I said earlier, and I'll kind of say it again, but the wonderful thing is hearing you talk during the videos about what you're seeing, what you're thinking, what you're going through. You play some great music, and the scenery is absolutely remarkable. And you got a lot of great camera shots, so it really keeps the viewers' interest up. So thank you for doing all the work. All three of us know how time consuming it can be to put a video together, but we appreciate it. I want you to know that. And again, and John or Dave, if you can, go ahead and put his link in the chat. I'd appreciate it if you can, John.
And thank you to everybody that does watch the videos. It's a passion of mine. Will I make any money at it? Probably not ever, but I do enjoy making them, and I talk to everybody. I try to talk to every single person that comes in the comments. Obviously, if the channel grows, I won't be doing that forever, but as long as I can physically keep up to it, I try to do that. So, and I've got a lot of cool friendships from it, I think, so far. People that I haven't even met, but I know if I come to Florida and fly with you guys, while we're already flying buddies as it is. So cool.
Rippa just put your link to your YouTube channel, so go ahead and click on that, everybody, after the show or whenever, and we'll go ahead and get you some more subscribers tonight. We're about to spin the wheel. Dave is going to do that, and again, whoever wins, put in the chat what you'd like. We've got a large shirt from Paraswag, as well as a Paraswag sticker, or you can choose from an extra large pair of flying gloves from Fly PPG. I'm throwing in also an ozone sticker, and also from Aviator, a Fly Products t-shirt. This is an extra large. So it's your choice tonight of what you want to win. And I will go ahead and also put in the chat while Dave is getting the wheel up here. I'm going to put in the chat the after show meeting ID and password through Zoom. So if you have any other questions you'd like to ask Jerry or thank him for putting these videos together, you can pop in as soon as the show's over. We'll let you in.
Bart Barry says Jerry's videos are very educational as well. Kudos to my friend for a great job.
Thanks, Bart.
I think I'm off mute. Yep, I'm off mute. Sorry, I was just subscribing to a guy's channel.
Nice.
And the meeting ID and the
All
password
right.
are in. All right, Dave, it's all you.
We ready to go? I think I did get rid of that god awful Christmas music, guys. So bear with me. All right, here we go.
Good luck.
Crazy Uncle Bob, thank you so much for the $5 donation to the show. Dave, do you want to say it? Greetings.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. So I got to say, so there's a funny. There we go.
Oh wait, we got a Cater. Oh no, Cater No Man. Cater No Man in Australia. This is gonna cost me a fortune. I sent him a t-shirt about 2 weeks ago from the Christmas Spectacular. Cater No Man, congratulations. If you can put in the chat which of the 3 prizes you'd like. York Dankies Garcia just came in with a $10 donation. Crazy Uncle Bob. Greetings, fellow deplorable infidel flying squirrels. Chris Fenimore.
Squirrels.
Chris told me don't say squirrels. LOL for $5.
Squirrels. Yeah, I was gonna tell you the story behind that. The
That's
text that I
funny.
got when you say squirrels.
Congratulations, Cater No Man. I just saw you put LOL in there, but tell me which of the 3 prizes, or you know what, you can go ahead and send me a Facebook Messenger or send it to davidwolf51@gmail.com. Which of the 3 prizes you'd like, as well as your address, and I'll go ahead and send that out to you. Cool. Again, want to thank all of our sponsors, especially the 2 sponsors that came on this past week. Josh Bowden, who is in the hold on. Dave, don't delete that wheel. Cater No Man says spin the wheel again. That's really nice of you, buddy. You sure?
Wow.
Really
That's
spin it again.
awesome.
We're gonna get. He wants to donate the winnings back since he just won. There you go. There you go. Cater No Man. Thank you. DP just came in. I just met you and I love you. I love you
Wow,
too.
you got a secret admirer.
$5. Thank you, DP. Don't tell my wife. All right, we're gonna spin the wheel again. Thank you, Cater No Man.
All right, here we go.
That was the only prize from the Christmas Spectacular that cost more to send than the prize itself.
Oh, jeez.
Squirrel.
But I'm glad I got it out though. That was awesome. All right, here we go.
Never trust a skinny chef, Shane. Congratulations, you are a winner of a giant squirrel.
Congratulations, Shane. He wins a lot.
Does.
No, he won a sticker and now he won this. That's all.
He won a T-shirt from Wisconsin Fly Sports.
Oh, okay.
He did. Shane, tell me what you want. What you really, really want.
Congratulations, Shane.
Tell me what you want. What you really, really want.
All right. I'm waiting to see what he puts in here. Make sure we're not spinning again. I think Shane says thank you. Shane, what would you like? Get this out to you.
He could email you, Dave.
He can email me. Shane, just email me what you want and give me your address again. And there you go. Dave Ruff.
Can't you just drop that off?
No.
Never mind. No.
This is the second time he's won. Okay, well, it feels like it. Anyhow, next week, we have a show. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern time, not 9 o'clock, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And that is going to be with Alex Ledger. He's going to be dialing in from the UK, which is going to be midnight his time. So that is why we're going to be on at 6 o'clock. Shane, I got you. So 6 o'clock, same time. Well, not same time, same place, same sandbox. Make sure you're here. Alex Ledger has great school out in UK. He was also, and I'll let him tell the story. Well, actually, I don't know if he can tell the story, but he helped inspire Resurgence PPG. So we'll talk about that next week and what he does out there in UK. Jerry, thank you so much. I'm going to give you the last thought. If you want to say, as far as your YouTube channel, what do you want to do with it? Who are you looking to inspire?
That's kind of funny because I thought of that over the years, and I started the channel with kind of the idea just a place to put my videos. And then I kind of went with maybe it could be a little bit of a thing when I retire to have a few dollars coming off of it. And the more it grows now, yeah, whatever. If it makes a few bucks down the road, that would be fine to help pay for equipment and stuff. It's never going to be Tucker Gott where I can live off of it or anything. So for now, I'm just trying to hone my craft and trying to make videos that are fun, that are edited kind of nice, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of guys doing a lot nicer stuff than I am, but I put all the effort that I can into it with the means that I have. And yeah, anybody can come on there and ask me questions, and I literally answer everybody that comes on. That'll end at some point. So if you guys want to come on and ask me questions in the comments, do it now.
Ripa used to do that, and then he got big time, and then just
Yeah.
can't.
I answer everybody's comment.
You do, every time. Yep.
I'm gonna give a couple more quick shout outs here, because just like this show is an educational entertainment, it's also a place where maybe you don't care about what's being said, but just want to hang out with your friends. So there's a couple other shows that are on YouTube. I always talk about Trike Flyer Dave Ruff, Wednesday night on his YouTube channel. He had like 50 some people. It's really after dark, and it's growing. And
Yeah.
see that
We set a record last week, guys. Thank you.
Thursday night with Paragliding Talk, and Linda, who is the PR manager for 2 different shows, Linda Anderson, Clear Prop TV, Monday night on Sean Simon's YouTube channel. There you go, man. That's everything. Thank you again, Jerry. You were awesome. So many great stories. Like Ripa said, we could listen to you for hours and hours and hours.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on the show. I totally had a ball. I'll come back anytime too.
Thanks, Jerry. It was a blast.
Thanks, John.
Yeah,
Thanks.
appreciate it.
We're going to see everybody in the after show. Have a great week, and stay safe up there. Take care, everybody.
Canadian dude, over and out.
Hey.